So people think that they are smart enough to trade altcoins in a way that they're going to get more Bitcoin, or they're just going to be in it for a minute. But the fact is that once you step away from Bitcoin, you're entering the gambling casino. Right. So it's the same. If ever you go to Vegas and you go across the room with all the slot machines and you ask 100 people how, if they're winners in Vegas, the 100 people say, yeah, I win all the time. I'm a big winner. They're sitting there with smoking a cigar, with threadbare, with nothing on their back. And they're like, I've been winning in this for years and years. Because the gambling mentality is such. You convince yourself that you're going to win at this gambling thing. So that's number one.
But I do.
And number two, the projects themselves suck. They're all centralized garbage. Bitcoin is decentralized. It's a big difference. You can't compare the two. It is.
I'm not saying Dogecoin technologically or their infrastructure, their code. I'm saying a bunch of regular people, young people who had no interest at all in any capacity with cryptocurrency. All of a sudden now the door was opened to at least walking into the room. And if at the end of it, 10% of the people or 1% of those people who normally would never be involved are like, I'm going to buy Bitcoin with it because that's the real asset. So they bought some Dogecoin as a joke. It went up. They went, whoa, they sold it. Then they, got Bitcoin instead. Isn't it better that people are at least understanding
Bitcoin is the house and everybody else are the chumps on the floor. So I own Bitcoin. If somebody wants to go into the speculative world of gambling on douche coins, and ultimately all that capital, the size of the market is expanding, right? So it's a 2 trillion plus. And that means that ultimately more money will flow into Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes through cycles, and right now it's going sideways and it's building a base, and then it'll make a big leap again. And then you'll see a rotation out of all these altcoins into Bitcoin. And a lot of people will get wrecked. And also when you're trading in those altcoins, there's all kinds of tax liabilities you have to be aware of.
Absolutely.
It's not worth it instead of just hodl.
No,
That's what my shirt says, buddy. Hodl. Hodl, baby. Hodl. That's what it's all about. Don't make me get undressed, Tim. Don't make me get naked on your show.
Please don't get undressed. I'm not saying Dogecoin is better than Bitcoin. I'm saying Dogecoin as a marketing campaign got a bunch of people to finally know what crypto was.
They're going to get wrecked. So people who bought it last week on the, Elon Musk on Saturday Night Live at 72 or 74 cents a coin, they're sitting on 30 or 40% losses today. And they're wondering, what the heck am I going to do? It's going to scare a lot of people out. You enter into the arithmetic of losing. The amount of percent gain you need to break even once you lose 10% is more than 10%.
Right.
So, what happens is you tend to trade riskier projects, as is today. There's another coin that's a dog coin, right?
Shiba Inu token.
So now that had a rally today. So a lot of people who lost 30% on Doge in the last week are going to be, I'm going to make it back on this other thing, which is even more ridiculously.
Well, so
they end up with zero.
Let me ask you about Bitcoin though. How long until you think Bitcoin reaches 500,000?
Well, I've got a price target for 2021 of 220,000 per coin.
Why? Where's that number
Based on the halvings that we've had every 4 years. We've had 3 halvings. And typically you see these types of price moves in the year.
You can track a pattern.
That's cyclically what we see.
What's the halving?
So 1 second. Has the price tracked as you've predicted it thus far? Because I know
The first quarter it did very, very well. Now it's kind of going sideways, and I think we're going to see in the second quarter another breakout move to 70, 80, 85,000.
So I've known you guys for a decade, and I told you the story of Bitcoin back in 2011. I was at a hackerspace in LA. It was called Crash Space. I was hanging out with my friend Jeff, and we're sitting at my computer. I had savings. I had about $5,000 in savings. I had worked. I had saved it. I'm never going to touch it. It's my rainy day fund. It's like, I'm very proud. I was, was I 24 or something? And I said, I saw Bitcoin. So the Bitcoin faucet. For those that aren't familiar, there's a website that literally just gave you free Bitcoin. It was 0.05, I believe. Could be wrong. Just randomly, like, there you go. Here's some. Because it was almost worthless. So I look at my friend and I'm like, should I just buy a bunch of this Bitcoin thing? Because I'm just saving this money. It's sitting in a bank. I got to pay fees or whatever. Why don't I just buy this Bitcoin? And he goes, nah, dude. Like, it's probably a scam. You're going to buy it off some dude, and then it's going to become worthless. And I was like, yeah, I guess not. And so I was actually, no joke, sitting there about to buy like 7,300, Bitcoin at 70 cents. And then I remember when it went up to $5, and I was like, oh man, remember when Jeff, when you told me not to buy it, then it hit $20, same story. Then it hit 500, same story. Yeah. And what's funny is, so I remember when you guys were promoting Bitcoin like crazy, and I was just watching it like, yeah, but now it's at, $5. if only I had bought was $1. Now it's at $60,000, and I'm
Right.
like, why didn't I listen to Max?
Well, that story is the exact same story that Peter Schiff has experienced.
Yeah, but he's still
I
not
told
buying,
him
right?
at $1. I told him at $10. I told him at $100. I told him at $1,000. Told him at $10,000, and he still won't buy it. He's still anti-Bitcoin. He's still saying the same silly things over and over again. So
I have
not an
been
uncommon story.
I was buying though, so you know what I'm like, man, I should have bought. I'll buy some. I'll buy a little bit, but I never went gung ho. I never went full in. I just bought a little bit here and there. Like, well, I'll just have some.
Yeah, well, it's never too late. You know, it's going to continue to go up. You know, on this financial advice question, it's like we're setting the table. We're saying, look, here's inflation. Here's your options. Here's what people are saying. You know, and make your own choices. Do your own research. But it's a very compelling story. And given that what the track record has been, and nothing we've said that would happen hasn't happened. Pretty much, we've been absolutely spot on in predicting the last 10 years pretty much every major turn in the global economy.
I'm definitely going to be buying more Bitcoin. But Bitcoin? What do you think about Ethereum though?
It's centralized garbage.
You don't like Ethereum?
It's shit.
Nah, it's fine. Well, so I'm not going to pretend that Ethereum is the same thing as Bitcoin. I think
No, it's centralized. The transactions are reversible. They've reversed transactions before. 60% pre-mine it's an exit scam where Vitalik and those guys are just dumping coins whenever they feel like it.
Wow.
It's not robust at all. It's buggy. It's never been. No one knows how many exist. If you say, well, you can't run a node.
What is it?
Ethereum.
Exactly. What is it? Like, what's the point of it?
So there's applications run off of it using ERC20 tokens. So
why not use Microsoft? Why not use AWS? Yeah, all of the nobody can run a node. It costs too much. It's all hosted on AWS.
That's true. Yeah.
So you can shut it down. And
do you think AWS is going to listen, to Vitalik Buterin, or are they going to listen to the Treasury if the Treasury contacts them?
No, I agree. So I think I view Ethereum as very, very different from Bitcoin, as more of like an investment into a company. As opposed to Bitcoin,
and there are a lot better companies then to invest in.
But if you're,
I don't know, the returns have been
But if your
ridiculously
objective
good.
is to everything that Bitcoin offers, and as we discussed about it, and that's your objective, there's Bitcoin. If you want to get involved in something called Ethereum, which is some software that is buggy and it's centralized and it has a track record of malfeasance, that's an option people
I want to be
make.
Medici. I want to be my own bank. I want to be the central bank. I want to have my own country within me. And I don't, Ethereum doesn't give that. No other coin gives that. Just Bitcoin.
But hold
I'm
on.
not saying you
create your own.
Are you saying you've invested in nothing other than Bitcoin?
That's all we do.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
You guys should
No
create your own
companies.
coins.
No, you can't.
stocks?
Like as soon as there's an individual who can be identified, and that person can then take the coin down. The Treasury contacts you.
I think
It's centralized.
I think the future of currency is like you make Max coin, Stacy coin, Ian coin, Tim
No,
coin.
no,
and
it's
then,
not.
Well,
It's
hear
not.
me out. Hear me out.
No, I had a question I asked that
Oh, good.
You guys are not investing in anything outside of Bitcoin, like
So
stocks?
we have Bitcoin. We have invested in Bitcoin startups, like for example, Kraken, which is an exchange. When it was $5 million, we invested in it. It's now worth $10 billion.
SwanBitcoin.com/orange pill. We find
Swan
we
Bitcoin?
we finance them. Or
But
investors in them.
no, like regular stocks of like blue chips or Fortune 500s or anything.
No, because there's a couple of interesting companies that are Bitcoin related. So MicroStrategy has a big Bitcoin position. Square, which is Jack Dorsey's company, is really on the Bitcoin vanguard. So I have positions. I have small positions in these companies that are Bitcoin related investments.